Please like the video and share it so that it reaches many more people and you get sawaba, or rewards from Allah. This could be a sawabe jariyah or continuous reward for you long after you are gone.
Volume 3, Book 29, Number 47. Narrated by Abdullah bin Abu Qatada. My father set out for Mecca in the year of Al-Hudaybiyah, and his companions assumed ihram, but he did not. At that time the Prophet was informed that an enemy wanted to attack him, so the Prophet proceeded onwards. While my father was among his companions, some of them laughed among themselves. My father said, I looked up and saw an onager. I attacked, stabbed and caught it. I then sought my companions' help, but they refused to help me. Later, we all ate its meat. We were afraid that we might be left behind, separated from the Prophet, so I went in search of the Prophet and made my horse to run at a galloping speed at times and let it go slow at an ordinary speed at other times till I met a man from the tribe of Bani Gifar at midnight. I asked him, Where did you leave the Prophet? He replied, I left him at Tahan and he had the intention of having the midday rest at As-Suqiyah. I followed the trace and joined the Prophet and said, O Allah's Apostle, your people, companions, send you their compliments, and ask for Allah's blessings upon you. They are afraid lest they may be left behind, so please wait for them. I added, O Allah's Apostle, I hunted an onager and some of its meat is with me. The Prophet told the people to eat it, though all of them were in the state of ihram. Volume 3, Book 29, Number 48. Narrated by Abdullah bin Abu Qatada. That his father said, We proceeded with the Prophet in the year of Al-Hudaybiyah and his companions assumed ihram, but I did not. We were informed that some enemies were at Gaika and so we went on towards them. My companions saw an onager and some of them started laughing among themselves. I looked and saw it. I chased it with my horse and stabbed and caught it. I wanted some help from my companions but they refused. I slaughtered it all alone. We all ate from it, i.e. its meat. Then I followed Allah's Apostle lest we should be left behind. At times I urged my horse to run at a galloping speed and at other times at an ordinary slow speed. On the way I met a man from the tribe of Bani Gifar at midnight. I asked him where he had left Allah's Apostle. The man replied that he had left the Prophet at a place called Tahan, and he had the intention of having the midday rest at As-Suqiyah. So, I followed Allah's Apostle till I reached him and said, O Allah's Apostle, I have been sent by my companions who send you their greetings and compliments and ask for Allah's mercy and blessings upon you. They were afraid lest the enemy might intervene between you and them, so please wait for them. So he did. Then I said, O Allah's Apostle, we have hunted an onager and have some of it, i.e. its meat, left over. Allah's Apostle told his companions to eat the meat although all of them were in a state of ihram. Volume 3, Book 29, Number 49. Narrated by Abu Qatada. We were in the company of the Prophet at a place called Al-Qaha, which is at a distance of 3 stages of journey from Medina. Abu Qatada narrated through another group of narrators. We were in the company of the Prophet at a place called Al-Qaha and some of us had assumed ihram while the others had not. I noticed that some of my companions were watching something, so I looked up and saw an onager. I rode my horse and took the spear and whip. But my whip fell down, and I asked him to pick it up for me. But they said, We will not help you by any means as we are in a state of ihram. So, I picked up the whip myself and attacked the onager from behind a hillock and slaughtered it and brought it to my companions. Some of them said, Eat it, while some others said, Do not eat it. So, I went to the Prophet who was ahead of us and asked him about it. He replied, Eat it as it is halal, i.e. it is legal to eat it. Volume 3, Book 29, Number 50. Narrated by Abdullah bin Abu Qatada. that his father had told him that Allah's apostle set out for Hajj, and so did his companions. He sent a batch of his companions by another route, and Abu Qatada was one of them. The Prophet said to them, "Proceed along the seashore till we meet all together." So, they took the route of the seashore. And when they started, all of them assumed ihram except Abu Qatada. While they were proceeding on, his companions saw a group of onagers. Abu Qatada chased the onagers and attacked and wounded a she-onager. They got down and ate some of its meat and said to each other, "How do we eat the meat of the game while we are in a state of ihram?" So, they, carried the rest of the she-onager's meat, and when they met Allah's apostle they asked, saying, "O Allah's apostle, we assumed ihram with the exception of Abu Qatada, and we saw a group of onagers. Abu Qatada attacked them and wounded a she-onager from them. Then we got down and ate from its meat. Later, we said to each other, how do we eat the meat of the game and we are in a state of ihram? So, we carried the rest of its meat." The Prophet asked, "Did any one of you order Abu Qatada to attack it or point at it?" They replied in the negative. He said, "Then eat what is left of its meat." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 51. Narrated by Abdullah bin Abbas. From As-Sabid bin Jathama al-Laythi that the latter presented an onager to Allah's apostle while he was at Al-Abwa, or at Waddan, and he refused it. On noticing the signs of some unpleasant feeling of disappointment on his, as-Sab's, face, the Prophet said to him, "I have only returned it because I am Muhrim." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 52. Narrated by Abdullah bin Umar. Allah's apostle said, "It is not sinful of a Muhrim to kill 5 kinds of animals." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 53. Narrated by one of the wives of the Prophet. The Prophet said, "A Muhrim can kill 5 kinds of animals." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 54. Narrated by Hafsa. Allah's apostle said, "It is not sinful of a Muhrim to kill 5 kinds of animals, namely, the crow, the kite, the mouse, the scorpion and the rabid dog." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 55. Narrated by Aisha. Allah's apostle said, 5 kinds of animals are harmful and could be killed in the haram, sanctuary. These are the crow, the kite, the scorpion, the mouse and the rabid dog. Volume 3, Book 29, Number 56. Narrated by Abdullah. While we were in the company of the Prophet in a cave at Mina, when Surat wal Mursalat were revealed and he recited it, and I heard it, directly, from his mouth as soon as he recited its revelation. Suddenly a snake sprang at us and the Prophet said, ordered us, "Kill it." We ran to kill it but it escaped quickly. The Prophet said, "It has escaped your evil and you too have escaped its evil." Volume 3, Book 29, Number 57. Narrated by Aisha, the wife of the Prophet. Allah's apostle called the salamander a bad animal, but I did not hear him ordering it to be killed.
I